Hello, I'm Bruce Culbert, and I'm the Managing Director at BPT Partners and the Chief Services Officer at the Pedowitz Group. And today I want to talk to you about the phenomena of the social customer. I want to talk to you about, what is the social customer, what businesses need to do to be able to deal with this highly empowered customer, and then what are the business strategies that allow companies to be able to provide, goods and services to their prospects, customers, and future customers. So let's talk about this new empowered, what some people are calling the social customer. What is the social customer? Well, first of all, they're highly empowered. As a result of the internet, today customers can basically build their own supply chain. They can order goods and services from anywhere around the world right from their kitchen table. Secondly, the social customer is highly mobile. So they are connected to multiple networks in a mobile fashion. They can access information anywhere, anytime. Thirdly, they are connected to other people. So before, when businesses were trying to sell their products and services, they were the primary source of information to customers. Today, customers look to their peers or a company like them or a person like themselves to get information that helps them guide their purchasing decisions. So, no longer is the company the authority, and the social customer is now empowered to take on their own actions and seek their own advice from peers and other information sources to help them make their buying decisions. So what is the impact on business of the social customer? First, this whole idea of a selling process or a sales cycle has now been replaced by a buying cycle. The customer is empowered. They are aggregating their own supply chains, and they are in control of the process in which they now buy. The notion of a sales cycle has really now been reoriented to stay relevant to each stage of the buying cycle. So for instance, in a business-to-business selling process, there's usually a discovery process where we recognize we have the need or the pain in the organization. Then we're looking for suppliers or sources of information to help us satisfy that particular need. And then at that point, we're looking at comparison of pricing and performance, and then we're looking to transact. All of these things are being done in social channels, meaning that they're happening in LinkedIn, they're happening on Facebook, they're happening in private networks, they're happening in peer-to-peer networks. So the information that buyers or consumers, both business and commercial consumers, are receiving is coming from other sources than the particular companies that are selling the goods and services. So what the social customer is now empowered to do is look for a customer like themselves or a business like themselves that they can have a conversation with and then gain information about what things that they need to understand at each stage of their buying process. So again, if you're a company, what you need to be able to understand is what are your customers' buying processes and how do you help satisfy their need for information and influence them in a positive way that your products and services meet their particular needs throughout that buying journey. And the next question that we need to ask ourselves is then what do businesses need to do to be able to deal with the social customer? First and foremost, I think businesses need to recognize that there is a significant alternative channel, which is the social channel, which they need to recognize and be able to integrate within their overall customer interaction and customer experience strategy. So things like LinkedIn and Facebook and private forums and facilities that are offered by the businesses themselves so that consumers can come and offer their advice and opinions and share information with each other is very, very important to a company's overall strategy. In fact, if you don't offer your customers that opportunity, they will look for other suppliers and vendors to satisfy their needs in that particular area. Secondly, this whole support of this social customer and the channels which they interact. So if you think about the social channel and the traditional online channels and then in-store and then through the direct mail and on the streets, wherever there's the opportunity to interact, has to be brought into a consistent strategy. So sometimes we call that customer relationship management. And then when you add the additional piece of the social, sometimes that's called social customer relationship management. And these strategies, every company has to have some idea how they're going to deal with their customers and how they're going to deal with them in the social channel. Even the simplest business models require this today. So what does that require? That certainly requires some underlying technology, and it requires some business strategy that specifically addresses the social channel, but in context to the overall business of how you interact and provide experiences to your customers. So it's not necessarily an isolated incident, but it's part of a cohesive overall customer relationship management strategy. So with all this discussion about the social customer and social CRM, there appears to be a lot of different strategies a company could pursue to address the needs of the social customer. I often get asked, what are some of those areas that businesses today can really benefit from, really kind of incorporating and understanding and engaging in a social CRM strategy? Well, if you think about some of the things, for instance, one, gaining, insight. So if you listen to what's going on in the social channel, and today there is solutions that allow you to monitor, over 20,000 websites and Facebook and LinkedIn and other social networks that allow you to kind of find out what is going on about your company. What is people talking about? Should you even care? Should you take any action? So the first and foremost, one of the things that people do is listen. So to gain marketing insight or market insight to your products and services, how they're being perceived in the market, and then you're able to take that insight and then use it and take action on it. Sometimes, one of the interesting challenges to the social channel is that there's a lot going on, and what is important, what do you pay attention to? So, but clearly, if you're not listening, you don't have that opportunity. Secondly, if you think about other opportunities for customer service, this is an area where it's really grown in terms of the social channel. If you think about, if you were to say, make a comment to your friend in Facebook that you didn't like a particular product, and then, minutes later or at some point that's appropriate, you got a contact from that company that we wanted to understand what your issues were with that product or what your experience was with that product so they could, proactively service you. You as a consumer might find that to be of value. And certainly as a company, if you could get in front of, what would be potentially problem situations that would later come into your call center or maybe later become part of a social discussion where, I'm discussing your company and the shortcomings of the products and services. So what you want to be able to do is, through that listening, again, gaining insights to be able to help you build the strategy, but also respond to issues before they become, larger issues and damage your brand and damage your product reputation. So, marketing insight, customer service, and to be able to get in front of customer service. Selling intelligence is another area where, social media strategy. So if you think about learning more about your prospects and customers because you participate where they are having dialogue. And again, the ability that helps you in the sales cycle to be able to take information, social activity, whether that be posts to a particular web or a review of a particular product, and be able to take that information and be able to make sense of that that says, is this a good prospect for our company or not? So there are a number of ways to take meaningful steps in creating what I call social strategies that allow you to kind of bring that all together in your larger customer relationship management strategies.